The crowd's roar hit me like a freight train as I crossed the goal line. The ball tucked under my arm like a secret I couldn't keep anymore. My cleats sank into the turf of Milford High's field, the same patch of grass that had soaked up my blood, sweat, and silent screams for 4 years. And in that split second, with the scoreboard flashing 28-27, I knew I'd just rewritten the town's history. But then, slicing through the cheers like a knife through fog, came the voice, raw, venomous, from the bleachers. "That's no victory, faggot. That's your funeral." I froze, the trophy already heavy in my grip, as if the weight of every sidelong glance and whispered joke from freshman year had finally caught up. My heart hammered not from the sprint, but from the realization that coming out mid-season hadn't freed me. It had just painted a bigger target on my back. And standing there, under the floodlights that felt more like spotlights on a stage I never auditioned for, I locked eyes with Jake, my best friend, my secret everything, who was supposed to be cheering loudest but now stared back with a face drained of color, like he just heard his own eulogy. That voice belonged to Tommy Hargrove, the hulking senior linebacker who'd transferred in from some podunk school upstate last fall. All tattoos peeking from under his pads and a smirk that said he owned the field before he even stepped on it. Milford, Ohio, population 12,347. Give or take a factory layoff. Wasn't exactly the heartbeat of progressive America. It was cornfields stretching to infinity, Friday night lights that doubled as the social calendar, and a Main Street diner where the coffee was blacker than the locals' opinions on anything that strayed from the script. Football wasn't just a game here. It was religion, and I was the quarterback who just led our Eagles to their first championship since '89. The first openly gay quarterback, that is. The one who'd kissed his boyfriend in the locker room after the semifinals and leaked it to the school paper because hiding it felt like dying a little every day. I remember the exact moment I decided to stop hiding. It was 2 months ago, after practice, when Coach Harlan pulled me aside in his office that smelled like stale Gatorade and regret. "Elliot," he'd said, his voice gravelly from years of barking orders. "Rumors are flying. You gonna address them or let 'em fester like a bad blister?" I'd nodded, throat tight, and the next day at assembly, with the whole school crammed into the gym like sardines in a sweat-soaked can, I stood at the podium and said it plain. "Yeah, I'm gay. And yeah, I'm still your QB. Deal with it." The applause was polite at first, then thunderous from half the room, silence from the other. Jake had been in the front row, his hazel eyes wide, fist pumping like we just won state. That night, in the cab of his beat-up Ford pickup parked by the quarry, he'd pulled me close and whispered, "You're braver than me, L. Always have been. But bravery's a fickle bitch." Fast forward to tonight, October 15th. Wait, no, that was the date of the assembly. Tonight was December 19th. Playoffs extended by rain delays and a snowstorm that blanketed Ohio in white like it was trying to bury our sins. The field was a mud pit, my uniform caked in it, but I dodged Tommy's sacks all game like they were metaphors for the hits life kept throwing. Now, as the band struck up Sweet Caroline, and my teammates hoisted me on their shoulders, that word, funeral, echoed in my skull. Tommy wasn't just trash-talking, he was promising. And Jake? He was weaving through the crowd toward me, his Letterman jacket slung over one shoulder, face a mask of forced grin. But I saw the flicker, the doubt, the fear that maybe loving me publicly was a championship he wasn't ready to claim. We'd met as scrawny 8th graders at Milford Middle, bonding over stolen sips of his dad's whiskey behind the bleachers during Pee Wee games. Jake Harlan, yeah, Coach's son, was the golden boy, tousled blonde hair, easy laugh, the kind of guy who could charm a nun into skipping vespers. I was the quiet one, all gangly limbs and a stutter that only vanished when I gripped a football. By sophomore year, we were inseparable, sleepovers turning into something electric under the covers, hands exploring in the dark while we pretended it was just bro stuff. Last summer, after I came out to him during a bonfire at Lake Erie, he didn't run. "I've been waiting for you to say it," he'd admitted, kissing me with lake water on his lips. "Because I feel it too." It was messy, stolen moments in his truck or my empty house. Mom worked doubles at the hospital since Dad bailed for a better life in Cleveland. But it was ours, real, the kind of love that made the world's ugliness feel like background noise. Until Tommy showed up. He rolled into town with a reputation. Expelled from his last school for fighting, whispers of a dad in prison for assault. On the field, he was a beast. 200 pounds of fury, sacking me so hard in scrimmages I'd see stars. Off it, he was worse. Locker room jabs about fairies and limp wrists. Eyes lingering too long on Jake and me when we laughed too close. Coach benched him twice for mouthing off, but Tommy had pull. His uncle owned half the auto plant that kept Milford afloat. "Play nice, boys," Coach would mutter. But nice went out the window when Tommy cornered Jake after weights one Tuesday. I overheard it from the showers. "You letting that queer ride your coattails, Harlan? Or you batting for his team?" Jake laughed it off, but later, in the parking lot, his hands shook as he lit a cigarette. "It's nothing, El. Just noise. Noise that built like thunderheads." By playoffs, Tommy was starting. His hits legal but laced with intent. Late tackles, elbows to the ribs that left bruises blooming like accusations. I told Coach, but he waved it away. "Toughen up, kid. Championships bigger than bruised egos." Jake backed him, saying I was paranoid, that Tommy was just intense. Our first fight followed, in the quarry lot, headlights cutting the fog. "You're choosing him over me?" I accused, voice cracking. "No," Jake shot back. "I'm choosing the team." "You." But his eyes darted away, and when he kissed me goodbye, it tasted like goodbye. The celebration party was at Mikey Russo's barn. Hay bales stacked like battlements. Kegs flowing like the Cuyahoga on a bad day. I nursed a solo cup of flat beer, replaying the game in my head. The perfect spiral to wide out Devin for the winning touchdown. The way the crowd had chanted LEOT. Like I was their messiah. Teammates slapped my back. Girls from cheer hung off my arm in platonic hugs. Even Principal Vargas pulled me aside. "Proud of you, son. First for a lot of reasons." But Tommy lurked in the shadows, nursing a grudge and a flask. His crew of meatheads orbiting like moons to a dark planet. Jake found me by the bonfire, flames dancing in his eyes. "You were incredible," he murmured, hand brushing mine. A risk in public, but tonight felt invincible. "We did it. That's what gutted me later." As the fire died to embers, Tommy sauntered over, flask extended like an olive branch. "To the Fairy King," he toasted, voice slurred but sharp. Jake tensed, but I took it, swigged the burn, and handed it back. "To second place," I replied, nodding at his empty ring finger. "No championship bling for the defense." He laughed, too loud, clapping Jake on the shoulder. "Your boy's got balls, Harlan. Shame he's wasting 'em on you." The air thickened, but Jake just chuckled, diffusing it like always. "Lighten up, Tom. Night's young." I excused myself to the bathroom, a rusted outhouse behind the barn. Splashing water on my face, staring at the mirror's cracked reflection. Who was I kidding? This town, this win, it changed nothing. I was still the kid who'd learned to throw left-handed because right felt wrong, hiding who I was until it almost broke me. When I stepped out, the night had shifted. Jake was gone. Tommy's crew huddled by the trucks. A knot twisted in my gut as I jogged toward the lot, calling his name into the wind. That's when I saw them. Jake's truck idling, Tommy inside the cab with him, heads close in what looked like argument or conspiracy. My blood ran cold. Betrayal? No, couldn't be. But as I approached, Tommy leaned out the window, grinning wolfish. "Your ride's here, princess. Harlan's dropping me home. Family business." Jake wouldn't meet my eyes, keys jangling in his hand. "I'll call you later. I'll get some rest." The truck peeled out, taillights fading like a bad dream, leaving me in the dirt with the echo of that word. Funeral. I walked home that night, 3 miles under a sky pricked with stars that felt mocking. Mom was asleep, night shift calling, so I slipped into my room. Posters of Brady and Mahomes peeling at the edges, a rainbow flag thumbtacked above my bed like a talisman. Collapsing onto the mattress, I scrolled Jake's texts. "Proud of you, Red Heart," from halftime. Nothing since. Sleep came fitful, dreams of goal lines blurring into graveyards. Morning brought hangover haze and coach's call. Team meeting at noon. "Big day, champ," he boomed. But as I laced my sneakers, dread coiled tighter. Tommy's voice from the bleachers wasn't idle. It was a vow. And Jake's silence? That was the real grave being dug. The meeting was in the gym, folding chairs scraping like accusations. Coach paced, clipboard in hand, recapping the win with slides of blurry action shots. Elliot Hayes, MVP trailblazer. First gay Eagle to hoist that trophy. Murmurs rippled. Pride from some, unease from others. Tommy slouched in the back, arms crossed, eyes on Jake, who sat rigid beside him. When Coach dismissed us for film review, I cornered Jake by the water fountain. "What the hell last night?" I hissed, keeping volume low. His face crumpled. "Tommy, he knows. About us. Threatened to tell my dad everything if I didn't play along. Said it'd ruin the team, the town. Call it a funeral for all our futures." My stomach dropped. "So you just drove him home? Like his errand boy?" Jake's eyes pleaded. "I was buying time, protecting us. Tonight, after the banquet, we'll talk. I promise. Protecting us." The words rang hollow as we filed into the projector room, darkness swallowing the room like doubt. Film rolled. My dodges, Jake's blocks, Tommy's relentless pursuit. Halfway through, a freeze frame. Me spiking the ball after the score, arms wide in victory. Someone snickered. Tommy's voice, low. "Looks like he's dancing on his own grave." The room stilled. Coach barked, "Enough!" But the damage seeped in, a slow poison. Jake shot me an apologetic glance, but I saw it now. The fracture lines in our foundation, widened by fear. That afternoon, the town buzzed. Local news van parked outside the diner. Reporter thrusting a mic at me. "Elliot, how's it feel to be a pioneer?" I mumbled something about team effort, but inside, I was unraveling. Pioneers get shot at, don't they? By dusk, the banquet loomed at the VFW hall. Rotisserie chicken, awkward speeches, the trophy presentation under chandeliers that dangled like nooses. I dressed in my Sunday best. Khakis, button down. Thai mom nodded with trembling hands. "You're glowing, baby," she said, kissing my cheek. Glowing. If only she knew the storm brewing. The hall was packed. Parents in pearls, boosters in blazers, the whole town smelling of cologne and complacency. I sat between Mom and Devin, Jake across the table with his dad, Coach Harlan holding court like a king. Tommy was there too, schmoozing the mayor, his laugh booming. When they called my name for the award, the applause swelled, genuine this time, and I climbed the stage, trophy glinting under lights. "This isn't just mine," I said into the mic, voice steady for once. "It's for every kid in Milford who's ever felt like they didn't fit the jersey. For the ones who'll come after." Whistles, tears from the front row. Jake beamed, clapping hardest. But as I descended, Tommy rose for his defensive standout nod. A participation ribbon. Really? And in passing, he leaned close, breath hot on my ear. "Enjoy the spotlight, Hayes. Lights out soon." My skin crawled. Later, during the dance, some Godoffel polka remix. Jake pulled me onto the floor, hands on my waist in a bro hug disguise. "I love you," he breathed, spinning me slow. "We'll get through this." Our first public almost dance, hearts sinking to the beat. Hope flickered, fragile as a match. Snuffed out at midnight. Banquet over, stragglers milling, I stepped out for air. There, by the dumpsters, cigarette glow. Tommy and Jake, voices low and heated. "Tell him or I will," Tommy growled. Jake's reply muffled. "You don't get it. This town's not ready." My world tilted. Not ready for what? For us? I backed away, unseen, chest caving. Betrayal's sting is sharper than any sack. I fled to my car, tires screeching into the night, tears blurring the taillights of a town that crowned me then crucified me. Dawn broke gray over Milford, the kind of Ohio winter light that seeps through curtains like bad news. I hadn't slept, replaying the dumpster scene on loop. Jake's hunched shoulders, Tommy's triumphant sneer. My phone buzzed with texts. Mom's, proud. Emoji barrage. Devin's party at mine? Champs deserve it. Jakes. Where are you? Need to talk. Red heart. I deleted it, throat burning. Love's a chain when it drags you down. Instead, I laced up for a run, pounding pavement past shuttered mills and for sale signs, breath fogging like unspoken accusations. 5 miles in, lungs screaming, I collapsed on the quarry's edge, staring at water black as my mood. We'd come here as kids, skipping rocks and dreaming big. Pro leagues for me, college for him. Now it felt like a grave. The funeral Tommy promised swallowing our futures whole. Back home, Mom was at the kitchen table, nursing coffee, her nurse's scrubs rumpled from the overnight. Rough night, honey? She asked, eyes sharp behind her glasses. Mom knew everything. The coming out, the Jake nights she'd pretended not to notice. She'd hugged me fierce after the assembly, whispering, "You're my champion, always." But today her concern carved deeper. I spilled it all. The voice at the game, the truck, the whispers. She listened, hand on mine, then sighed. This town's got a long memory, Elle, and short fuses. But you've got steel. Talk to him, before the poison spreads. Poison. Yeah. By noon, Jake was at my door, hair disheveled, eyes red-rimmed. Elle, please. We ended up in my room, door shut against the world. He paced, words tumbling. Tommy cornered me again. Says he's got proof photos from summer, us at the lake. Threatens to post them online, tell coach, the boosters. Ruin scholarships, everything. My gut twisted. Proof. Like our love was evidence in a crime. So what's the play? I demanded, arms crossed. You his puppet now? He stopped, face crumpling. No. God, no.
I'm scared. Okay.
Dad's already on edge. Don't let that fairy distract the team, he said after you came out. If this blows, it's not just me. It's him, the program, all of it. I wanted to scream, to shake him until the fear fell off like old skin. Instead, I sat on the bed, head in hands. Us against them, remember? That's what you said. He knelt, taking my hands, thumbs tracing knuckles like a prayer. It is. But Tommy's unhinged, heard his old school kicked him for beating a kid senseless. Accused him of stuff. He's got nothing to lose. The room closed in, our breaths sinking despite the rift. When he kissed me, soft, desperate. It was forgiveness I tasted, mingled with dread. We'll fight, he murmured against my lips. Together, lies we both wanted true. The week blurred into a tense limbo. School buzzed with hero worship, hallway high-fives, haze for Heisman, graffiti in the Johns, but undercurrents swirled. Tommy's crew amplified the jabs. Notes in my locker, ferry's flight, one-way ticket, graffiti on my stall, queer QB quits. I reported it, but Principal Vargas shrugged. Boys being boys, focus on grades. Grades, like calculus cared about my crumbling world. Jake walked tighter lines, lunches with Tommy's pack, practices where he'd block for me but avoid eye contact after. Our stolen moments shrank to texts. Miss you. Hang in. I threw myself into film study, runs that stretched to 10 miles, anything to outpace the hurt. Then came the scout from Ohio State, big league, scarlet and gray dreams. He shook my hand after Thursday's scrimmage, where I'd threaded needles through defenses like it was poetry. Kid, you've got arm talent and heart. Visit campus next month. My pulse raced. OSU, escape hatch from Milford's chokehold. I texted Jake immediate. Buckeyes want me. His reply, knew it. So proud. Dinner to celebrate. We met at the diner, corner booth under flickering neon. Burgers and shakes like old times. For an hour, it was us. Laughing over coach's latest rant. Planning dorm life. Futures intertwined. You'll start as freshman, he predicted, stealing my fries. I'll be there every game, loudest fan. His foot hooked mine under the table, a silent vow. Hope that stubborn weed sprouted again. But Tommy was fertilizer for despair. Friday, post-practice, he accidentally shoulder-checked me into the lockers, metal rattling like bones. Oops, He grinned. But his eyes said murder. Jake pulled him off, voices rising. Back off, man. Tommy shoved back. Or what? Gonna cry to daddy? Coach broke it up. Benches all around. But the locker room aftermath was a minefield. Guys muttering. Devin pulling me aside. Heard Tommy's got dirt. You okay? I nodded, but inside, fractures spread. That night, alone, I googled hate crimes, stats that chilled. 1 in 4 gay kids assaulted, small towns topping the list. Milford stats? Buried. But I felt them in my bruises. Saturday brought the town parade. Eagles float down Main. Me waving from a convertible, trophy propped like a scepter. Crowds 3 deep. Kids in face paint. Mayor droning from a podium about unity and pride. Pride. Irony bit deep. Jake rode shotgun, our thighs brushing. But Tommy's convertible trailed. His wave a mock salute. As confetti swirled, a egg splattered the hood, harmless prank. But the shout followed. Go back to fairyland. Laughter rippled, quickly hushed. My smile froze. Jake's hand found mine behind the seat, squeezing. Unity, my ass. Post-parade, the real party hit Russo's again. Bigger, bonfire roaring like Judgment Day. I arrived late, nerves jangling, to find Jake by the flames. Tommy draped over him like a bad habit. Shots. Tommy bellowed, arm around Jake's neck. My entrance turned heads. Cheers erupted, but I zeroed on them. Jake extricated, rushing over. Just team stuff, he explained, breath beery. Tommy's trying to make nice. Nice, right? We danced around the fire, bodies close in the throng. His whisper hot. Can't stop thinking about OSU. Us free. The music pulsed, a slow grind, and for a moment, the world shrank to his scent. Sweat and pine. Then the photo dropped. My phone lit up mid-song. Anonymous Snapchat from Milford Truth. Image grainy but unmistakable. Me and Jake at the lake. Midsummer kiss. Shirts off. Tangled in bliss. Caption. Champ's dirty secret. Funeral for football. The crowd hushed as notifications pinged like gunfire. Eyes turned. Whispers amplified. Tommy, across the fire, raised his flask in toast. Grin feral. Betrayal crystallized. Jake's phone buzzed too. Face ashen. I swear. But I was already bolting. Through the woods, branches whipping like accusations. He caught me at the quarry, tackle soft. It wasn't me. Tommy must have followed us. I shoved him, tears hot. Then why cozy up? Why the secrets? He held on, sobbing. Fear. But I choose you. Always. We sank to the dirt, clinging. The photos poison seeping but our grip tighter. Dawn found us there. Resolutions whispered. Confront Tommy. Go public. Burn the bridge. Monday's school was war zone. The photo viral. Group chats ablaze. Fairy lovers trending locally. Coach hauled me in. This true, son? I nodded, chin up. Yes, and I'm not ashamed. He rubbed his jaw, glancing at Jake's empty chair. He'd called out sick. Towns divided. Protect yourself. Protect. From what? Lunch was exile. Devin my lone sentinel. Teams with you, he lied kindly. After, Jake texted. Meet at field. Now. I went, heart leaden. He waited on the 50-yard line, football in hand. Throw with me. We did, spirals arcing like lifelines, words tumbling between. I told Dad. Everything. My throw wobbled. And yelled. Then hugged me. Said he loves us both. Relief cracked my chest. Tommy. Jake's face hardened. Dealt with. Told him we're done hiding. He backs off or we expose him. Exposed. The word hung as we walked off, hands linked open. But Tommy waited in the parking lot, crew flanking, fury etched. You two think you're heroes? This town's mine. He lunged, fist aimed at Jake. But I intercepted, pain exploding in my jaw. Fists flew, grunts echoing. Devin and Mikey piled in, chaos reigning. Sirens wailed distant, then near. Cops hauled Tommy away, cuffs clicking like finality. Jake's split lip bled onto my shirt as we sat on the curb, holding each other. Funeral's his, I murmured. Jake nodded, kissing my temple. Ours is just beginning. But beginnings twist. That night, anonymous email. More photos, timestamped recent. Jake and Tommy, heads bent in the truck, not arguing but close. Whispered words, hand on thigh. My world imploded. Betrayal? Double-edged. Was it setup? Or truth? I confronted Jake at dawn. Evidence thrust. His denial crumbled to confession. One time, summer, confused, drunk, before us solid. I'm sorry. The word a shroud. Trust that fragile thread snapped. Funeral for us? I whispered, door slamming behind him. Grief's a quiet thief, stealing breath in increments. The days after blurred into a numb haze. School a gauntlet of stairs. Practices where coaches focus, haze, landed like lashes. The photo scandal simmered, town divided. Editorials in the Milford Gazette praising courageous love. Counterpetitions from church groups decrying moral decay. Tommy sat out, suspended pending assault charges. But his shadow lingered, whispers of he didn't do it alone, slithering through halls. And Jake? We ghosted each other, orbits colliding only in shared silences. I'd catch him watching from across the gym, eyes pleading, but the betrayal's bruise throbbed too raw. One mistake, he called it. To me, it was fracture. Mom noticed, of course. Dinners became interrogations masked as care. Pass the peas, and how's your heart? One night, casserole cooling, she set down her fork. Love's not a straight line, Elle. It's a spiral, ups, downs, loops that test the metal. Her own story spilled then. Dad's affairs, her choice to stay for me. Forgiveness isn't weakness. It's wings. Wings. I wanted them, but mine felt clipped. Still, her words planted seeds, sprouting doubt. Was I burying us alive? The OSU visit loomed, scheduled pre-scandal, now a lifeline. I drove solo, for hours of highway hypnosis. Buckeye leaves blazing autumn fire. Campus thrummed. Stadium vast as cathedrals. Dorms buzzing with futures untethered. Coach there. Urban successor, all charisma and clipboards. Walked me through drills, nodding at my arm. Heart like yours? Rare. Scholarships yours if you want. Want. God, yes. Dinner with boosters, talk of parades and pro-paths. But my mind wandered to Jake. Would he follow to Columbus? Or was that photo the tombstone on our chance? Back in Milford, reality crashed. Devin cornered me post-practice. Jake's a mess. Tommy's feeding him shit. Saying you'll bail without him. Mess. Pot. Kettle. But seeing Jake at the quarry that evening, slumped on our rock, skipping stones like please, I cracked. Talk, I said, sitting distant. He poured. Regrets torrent, therapy with school counselor, vow to cut Tommy cold. It was nothing. Curiosity, stupidity. You're everything. Vulnerability stripped him bare. The golden boy cracked open. I listened, walls tumbling. Prove it, I challenged. He nodded. Fierce. Every day. Rebuilding's tentative, bricks laid with care. We started small. Coffee runs, no-touch zones turned to handholds in truck cabs. Public now. Stolen kisses at red lights, his arm around me in diner booths. Town watched, judgments softening to shrugs. Coach even pulled Jake aside. Handle your business, son. Team needs whole players. Whole. Felt like progress. The championship glow faded. Winter deepening. Snow dusting fields. Holidays looming like uninvited guests. Mom hosted Friendsmas. Inviting Devin's crew. Even Jake tentative. Laughter echoed. Eggnog spiked. And under the tree, his gift. A locket with our lake photo. Edited pure. No secrets, he whispered, fastening it. My gift. OSU hoodie, scarlet promise. That night, on my porch swing, stars winking approval, we talked futures, joint applications, apartments off High Street. Love, resilient, bloomed anew. But suspense coiled. Tommy's trial date set for January. Charges. Assault, harassment, hate motivated. His uncle lawyered up, painting him victim of woke agenda. Town split, fundraisers for his defense at the VFW, counter-rallies by the LGBTQ Center in Akron, buses rumbling in solidarity. I testified prep with DA. Recount the hits, the whispers, the funeral vow. He meant it, I said, voice steel. Jake too, though reluctance shadowed him. Tommy's grip lingered. He texted me last night, Jake admitted pre-meeting. Apologizing? Bull. Stay away. He did, but doubt seed took root. Climax brewed mid-January, snowstorm whiteout trapping us homebound. Power flickered, cabin fever rising. Jake snuck over, blizzard be damned, bearing hot cocoa and confessions. Curled on the couch, fire crackling, he unloaded. Tommy cornered me again, juvie scare, but his uncle's pulling strings. Blames you for it all. Blame. The word ignited. And you, pressed. Believe him? Jake's eyes flashed. No, but, he said stuff. About Dad knowing longer than we think. Coach? The man who'd mentored me, toasts at banquets. Betrayal's echo chamber. Next day, storm cleared. I confronted Coach at his office. Door ajar, him on phone. Keep it quiet, Tom. Boy's volatile. My blood iced. Volatile. He hung up, face paling. Elliot. Sit. Truth unraveled. Tommy's complaints preemie, Coach's advice to Jake. Distance me. Protect the team. Not hate, he claimed. Pragmatism. Town eats its young. Pragmatism. Cloak for cowardice. I stormed out, calling Jake. Your dad's in it. Deep. His denial shattered on arrival. Coach's confession replayed. Father-son implosion. Jake's sobs echoing. How could he? We drove to the quarry. Snow muffling cries. Holding each other against the cold. We're done with secrets, Jake vowed. All of them. The trial hit like a nor'easter. Courthouse packed. Reporters, protesters, Milford's finest in ill-fitting suits. I took the stand first, recounting the season's siege. Bleacher threat, locker assaults, the photos' digital venom. Jurors leaned in, faces a mix. Farmers, teachers, a lesbian couple from the edge of town. Tommy's turn. Hulking in khakis, voice cracking on. I was joking, Your Honor. No hate, just banter. Bull. His uncle's cross. Mr. Hayes, isn't this publicity for your lifestyle? Objection sustained, but damage lingered. Jake's testimony gutted me. Voice steady on our love, trembling on Tommy's manipulations. He used me. Against us. Cross-exam pushed. You kissed him, didn't you? Confused loyalties? Jake's reply. Loyal to truth. Always. Deliberation dragged 2 days, town holding breath. Verdict. Guilty on assault. Harassment misdemeanor. Slap on wrist. Probation. Community service. No hate enhancement. Jury deadlocked there. Tommy's glare from the defense table promised unfinished business. But as cuffs clicked symbolic, relief washed. Outside, hugs from strangers. You changed things, kid. Changed. But scars puckered. Aftermath swirled. OSU scholarship locked. Jake's 2, backup QB, but family. Coach resigned end of season. Personal reasons. Taking assistant gig in Toledo. Whispers of payout, but we let it lie. Spring thawed Milford. Fields greening like hope. Jake and I bloomed public. Prom dates and tuxes, crowns of paper, dances unapologetic. Town pride event bloomed too. Rainbow flags on Main. My speech from the gazebo. Victory's not the score. It's standing tall. Cheers thundered. Jake's hand in mine anchor. Yet undercurrents tugged. Tommy's service at the rec center. Coaching peewees. Irony bitter. One evening, post-run, I spotted him by the field, kids orbiting. Our eyes met. He nodded curt. Truce? Or threat veiled? Jake urged caution. Water under. But water erodes. Summer scorched in, graduation caps tossed like confetti. Bonfire send-off at the quarry. Full team. Even exes like Tommy invited, no showing. Jake and I slow danced to guitars. Futures whispered. Columbus in fall. Weekends home for mom. Love, tempered by fire, glowed steady. No more funerals, he murmured. Only us. But fate's a trickster. August Eve, eve of departure, package arrived, no sender, my name scrawled. Inside, burned photos, ours, Tommy's with Jake, coach's notes. Note pinned, buried secrets rise. Your funeral's not over. Panic surged. Tommy? Or ghost of grudges? Jake paled reading it. We go anyway. Defiance our shield. We left at dawn, U-Haul groaning, Milford shrinking rear view. Highway stretched, promises ahead. But in the glove box, that note lingered. A shadow on our light. Columbus hit like a revelation. Urban pulse against Milford's doze. Scarlet banners waving welcome. Dorms smelled of fresh paint and possibility. Roommates Devin, transferred too, and a straight-laced econ major who nodded at our linked hands like it was Tuesday. Classes blurred. Intro psych, film study, but football anchored. Two-a-days brutal, arms aching. But Jake's presence across the practice field a beacon. We'd sneak to Mirror Lake post-drill, picnics of vending machine chips, dissecting plays and pains. Miss the quiet? He'd ask, head on my lap. Nah, I'd lie. This is us. But ghosts commuted. First weekend home, mom's kitchen brimmed apple pie, hugs tight. News. Tommy paroled early, good behavior. Working his uncle's plant. Stay clear, she warned. We did until the call, Coach Harlan, voice cracked. Need you boys. Fundraiser for the program. One night. Jake hesitated but legacy tugged. For Dad, he said. I agreed, uneasy. The event swarmed VFW. Boosters bellied up, speeches slurred. Coach cornered US. Proud. Both. Awkward pat on backs. Tommy lurked periphery, suit straining, eyes avoiding. Truce held till after party at the quarry. Irony's cradle. Bonfire crackled. Beers cracked. Old teammates orbiting. Jake and I danced loose, laughter loosening knots. Then Tommy approached, flask extended. Water under, haze? Voice neutral but undercurrent hummed. I took it, swigged. Yeah. Clean slate. Handshake firm, calluses clashing like old foes. Held, fragile. Weeks turned months. Letters from OSU coaches praised our dynamic. Scouts sniffing pro potential. Jake bloomed, starting back up his block's poetry. Off-field, we built. Apartment lease, rainbow flag on balcony, date nights at Schmidt's Sausage House, polka dancing absurd. Love deepened, scars fading to stories. Remember the photo? He'd tease, kissing my neck. Best thing that happened. Forced truth. Truth. Our gospel. Fall break brought storm literal. Winds howling off Erie. Stranded in Milford, power out, we hunkered at mom's. Candles flickering confessions. What if pro doesn't pan? Jake voiced fear long buried. Back up life. I pulled him close. You're my starter. Always. Vulnerability bonded, night spent mapping contingencies, coaching, sports psych, lives intertwined sans pigskin. Return to campus, email pinged. Anonymous, subject, unfinished business. Attached, video clip, grainy, timestamp summer post-trial. Tommy and a shadow Jake? In truck cab, words muffled. End it. Funeral for him. Heart seized. Set up? Or relapse? I confronted Jake immediate, laptop thrust. His face drained. No, that's edited. Tommy baiting months ago. I walked. Proof? Texts from then, his. Done with him. Coming home to you. Forged? Doubt gnawed. But evidence leaned innocent. Trust, he begged. I did barely, vowing therapy, boundaries redrawn. Thanksgiving thawed it. Home again. Family dinner bloated, coach awkward. Mom's turkey dry but heart full. Post-feast walk, Jake and I by the field. Snow dusting lines. This place shaped us, he said. Broke and built. I nodded, lacing fingers. Worth it. Peace settled. Tentative. Winter quarter ramped intensity. Bowl prep. Finals frenzy. We thrived. Tandem. Study sessions turning steamy but chaste. Dreams shared. Pro scout from Browns called, "Hayes, you've got that grit. Combine invite. Ecstasy." Jake's grin. "Told you, Heisman." High wobbled when news hit. Tommy engaged local girl, quickie courthouse due. Town toast. Reformed. Skepticism soured my beer at the diner tail. "Playing house," I muttered. Jake shushed. "Let it go." But letting go's myth. Spring break, road trip south, Nashville honky-tonks, Smokies hikes, reset button. Motels cheap, miles melting miles, we talked raw. Childhoods, fears, the funeral haunting. It was his threat, Jake realized. Not ours. Laughter healed. Nights tangled pure. Love's language beyond words. Back, draft buzz crescendoed. My stock rose. Arm velocity clocked 60 miles per hour. Interviews gushing Pioneer QB. Jake steady, content in support. Pride Month bloomed campus-wide. Parade floats. Our kiss on news feed viral positive. Gay power couple. Headlines cooed. High-faded June Eve. Call from Milford PD. Tommy's fiancé filed assault. Bruises fresh. Said he snapped. Ranting about you too. Funeral again. Chills. Jake's voicemail. "I'm fine. Stay put." We drove up, immediate storm chasing. Station reeked coffee stale. Detective briefed. Tommy off meds. Anger management skipped. Lashing post-engagement stress. Targeted you, cause of history. History. Our curse. Jake arrived. Lips split anew. Tommy's parting gift at a bar. He cornered me. Apologized. Then swung. Said we're poisoning the town. Rage boiled, but pity tempered. Broken boy, cycles unbroken. Trial redux loomed summer, hate charge pushed. We testified again, voices surer. Jurors this time. Diverse, urban transplants nodding empathy. Tommy crumbled stand. Tears, sobs of lost control. Sorry. Guilty, felony assault, jail time real. As gavel fell, his eyes met mine. Not hate, defeat. End it, he mouthed. Funeral his, finally. Aftermath liberated. Draft lottery spun me, third round, Bengals, Ohio roots deep. Jake. Undrafted but arena league call-up. Backup's my brand, he joked. Celebration bonfire, our quarry, friends toasting. To endings, Devon raised cup. And beginnings. Fall found us Cincinnati bound. Apartment overlooking river. Skyline twinkling promise. Games electric. My first start, spiral sailing, crowd chanting. Jake in stands, scarlet jersey mine. Halftime kiss cam, booze drowned cheers, but we leaned in. Progress prickly. Yet humanism whispers. Forgiveness arc. Letter arrived winter, Tommy's, from lockup. You won without hating. Teach me? Jake read aloud, voice soft. Reply. I nodded. Words penned. Hate's the real funeral. Rise from it. Sent. Slate cracked open. Life layered. Mom visited, beaming at games. Coach reconciled. Awkward barbecues. Love with Jake matured. Anniversary lake trip. Rings simple promised. Till the final whistle, he vowed. Suspense lingered faint. Scouts whispers, injuries shadow, but we faced tandem. Milford faded fond. Scar tissue strong. Years weave like spirals, tightening then unfurling. 5 seasons in Bengal starter slot mine, Super Bowl run 32. Confetti my confetti, Jake's arms home. Retirement loomed post-injury, knee betraying at 28, but pivot graceful. Analyst gig ESPN, voice steady on panels decrying hate in sports. Jake coached high school, irony sweet, in a Cleveland suburb, kids diverse, rainbows routine. Your legacy, he'd say, kissing forehead. Milford called sporadic. Mom's 60th, bash at the field, trophy case gleaming my plaque. Tommy paroled 35, clean, they said. Mechanics shop owner, sponsoring youth center. We crossed paths fundraiser. Handshake firm, eyes clear. Thanks for the letter, he grunted. Changed the angle. No apology needed, growth spoke. Our life rooted. House in the heights, garden bursting. Adoption papers inked. Twin boys, Jamal and Luca. For now, tumbling grass. Papa L. Shrieks as I scoop. Jake grilling burgers, laughter our anthem. Pride Parade's annual. Floats we lead. Signs, love wins championships. But drama's echo. 38 scandal. League exec outed for slurs. My op-ed viral. Funeral for fear. Backlash brewed, death threats. But security tight, Jake's hands steel. We've danced this, he reminds. We have Milford's mud to stadium lights. Betrayal to bedrock. Humanism's the thread. Not flawless endings, but resilient middles. Mom's health waned. Cancer whisper, then roar. But hospice home, surrounded. Her last, you buried the hate, boys. Rose beautiful. Tears but peace. Now, December Eve 45, 20 years post-win, we host reunion. Old teammates, Devin with wife, even coach frail but grinning. Quarry bonfire, stories spun. The photo, the punch, the vow. Jake toasts. To the first gay champ, and the love that made him legend. Laughter, hugs, stars witnessing. Later, boys asleep, we swing porch, creak familiar. Funeral, I tease. He pulls close. Nah, eternity. Kiss slow, world fading. Milford's ghost gentle now. Lesson etched. Victory's not the line crossed, but the hand holding through the storm. Love, dramatic, suspenseful, raw, our endless championship.